Namaskaram to all of you. Thank you, Ashok, for this very kind introduction. Thank you so much, Matrix, for asking me to speak in this event. In fact, it was Ashok who was very persistent that I should speak here. I had a little trepidation in my mind because I'm not a technology expert like most of the people on the panel and the audience. And I thought I would like to mirror what is happening and what can happen in agriculture. So that was a little trepidation. Then Ashok said, no, you must really come and talk. I said I would only present basically what I understood looking at agriculture in the last 36 years across the length and breadth of this great nation. So having said that, like my assumption is the people who are attending this panel are those people who want to look at agtech to be into the sector. So that is the assumption. And some of those people are already there who are trying to refine what exactly they have been doing. I think this is my assumption, and this is based on this I'm going to talk. And the organizers also told me that I should look at the sustainability aspect of the operations of the individuals who are running the business. I think this is one more aspect which I want to bank on. This is the fulcrum on which I'm going to speak. Here, like I'm going to speak broadly around 7 points. The point number one is, as I said, we are trying to mirror the exact situation. It is something like we are talking from Bangalore, and the Kolar goldfield is very close by. To get a gram of gold, to get 3 grams of 4 grams of gold, you have to almost process 1,000 kilos, a ton of soil. So gold is there, but then you need to work hard. So on that point, like the question which I want to ask is, are you people who are interested, people who are listening, would want to be inside or outside this particular sector? This is something like, do we call the famous quote like half glass full, half glass empty? I think I want people to first make up their mind. Basically, like just let me quickly tell you, I think all of us know this is a small farmer oriented agriculture, and the household income is typically around 10,000 per family. And those of you, like 50% of those people get income from 2 sources. Rest of the 50% get more than 2 sources. That means agriculture is a small component of their earnings. So agriculture is not the only source of earning. But at the same time, we are the world, we produce so much milk, the biggest producer of milk, biggest producer of cotton, biggest producer of millets, vegetables, so many things. So, but at the same time, we also have been consistently producing more than 300 million tons of food grain, around 330 million tons of fruits and vegetables, and the pandemic has made people very conscious of what they are really asking, what they're really wanting to buy from that. This is a very great opportunity for those people who want to get in. This is also a great opportunity for those people who want to get in, because small farmer oriented agriculture can really add a huge amount of value to the nutritious food. So unless until someone is genuinely passionate to be in this sector, one should not really get in. If you get in, as I said, there is a Kolar gold field close by, you put in that little work, the gold will really come. The point is, are you in or out? One should really decide. If some of you think half glass empty, I think this is not the sector for you. Please go and do something else. Passion to be involved is very, very crucial, because you're touching the lives of several people when we're talking about agriculture. I think this is point number one I want to really tell. Second point which I want to really present to you is, should the AgTech be in the focus, or should the farmer be in the focus? I think this is one more thing which we really need to look at. As I said, I bow down to all of you who are in this virtual forum, who want to add some value to the farmer. See, means that it's the thought itself is very noble. That is the reason I said I bow down and say namaste to all of you. And unless until we should remember one thing, unless until farmer makes money, tech cannot make money. I think this is one more point we should be very, very clear. And as I was talking about, Ashok was talking about the sustainability aspect. It is not the definition of sustainable development. It is the sustainability of the operations which we're going to begin. So whatever we intend to do, whatever is the whole path we wanted to work on should be sustainable. And we as AgTech promoters need to look from this particular point. And one more point when we're talking about sustainability is, how do we build the capacities of the farmers who are going to be involved with us? That is also an important aspect which we really need to look at. Then the second issue is when we're talking about the capacity building of the farmer. So how do you really build in the capacities of those of you who would be interested to look at this particular sector? The simple answer is there is no training program or there is no internship around. The only internship which is possible is go on the ground and speak to all people who are in the ecosystem. That is the most important thing we should really look at. Then the third point which I wanted to really tell is how should AgTechs look at agriculture? I think there is one fundamental point which we should be very, very clear. Farmer makes money when there is an increase in production. Farmer makes money when there is an increase in productivity. Farmer makes money when the cost of cultivation comes down. Farmer also makes money when the market behaves friendly to the farmer. So you as someone intending to look at this particular sector should be very clear which part of this chain you want to be involved. Production, productivity, reduction of the cost, making optimal use of the resources, or making the what you call market work for the farmers. I think this is one area which we should look at. Long back when I was working in Lucknow, there used to be a director, the first director of IIM Lucknow, Professor Rao. He was my guru who taught me how do I really look at appraisal. He used to simply say appraisal is understanding the whole processes end to end. So why I really brought in Dr. Rao into this conversation is, unless until you know the full value chain of what you're going to talk, it is not going to work. Then, so as far as possible, you should really work with the full stack. And even if you pick a few pieces to begin with, you should eventually make the whole stack work. That is something which is very crucial for the transformation and growth to happen. And one more point which we should all remember is, many people think AgTechs are the high-tech aggregators because you know the technology. We completely agree that you know the technology. We know that aggregation can be made better, but then it can work up to a level. This is not the full spectrum where you can work on. And many also think, oh, FPO is going to be their Man Friday. The FPO is still evolving into the country. The development is still happening. FPOs are a very important tool, provided they are your partners, not your simple suppliers. Kindly understand this particular point. And one more important point we should really remember is, when you're working with farmers, necessity of building a farmer institution is very important, but it is not going to be so easy. So many years of my experience working with the grassroots level, I can definitely tell it is not easy, but if you can really crack it, it pays huge dividends. Please look at this. And as I said, there are many Me Too's in this aggregation. Look beyond aggregation. Look beyond look at how can we really look at other aspects of agriculture. That is something which I want to tell. The fourth point which I want to tell is understand the ecosystem which works in the country. When you really look at the ecosystem of agriculture in the country, we have farmers, we have agricultural colleges, agricultural universities, we have a huge ICR system, we have many agricultural input companies, we have many dealers who sell these things, we have the newly minted what you call FPOs and the new breed agtech people, we have angel investors, we have VC players, we have banks, we have financiers. And suppose if you ask a simple question, is there a great coherence in all this system? Not exactly. Are they inimical? No. So the system exists. There is not many, the system should mutually reinforce each other. When you want to work in this sector, if you can make this system reinforce with each other, which part of the system you're working, that will really help you so much. In the sense, like what I'm asking is, the technology and finance should speak to each other, and we should really be in a position to create good business models and also bankable proposals. You cannot work on your own as an agtech. You have to have the necessity, you necessarily need to pull in the banker. The banker will come in if it's a bankable proposal. All these things need to be put together. See, we should understand prosperity happens when everyone prospers. Prosperity doesn't happen to one at the cost of others. It has to be looked from this particular angle. So, for example, ICR system or the university system has so many patents. Does it really work? Can we really pick something, add, tweak, make things better? First, understand the system where you want to operate. Then the fifth point which I want to tell is, do you know what the farmers think, want, what are the pain points? How many of you, like those of you who want to work on this, I want really, you should go and understand what really is happening. A few years back, like quite some time back, not few years back, between 2002, 2007, I was implementing a watershed project where we're trying to conserve the soil and moisture in the current Telangana portion, which was heavily infested by Naxalites those days. So one important point which I was told was, you should really understand before you do anything. So I used to go spend from morning till late evening telling that I'm going to be there because I need to tell someone that I'm in this village for a long time, simply to understand what really happens, what really farmers want. So I want those of you who want to be in this sector should go and spend time in the village, understand what is happening, understand what the Department of Agriculture does, understand what the Department of Agriculture tells the people, how the APMCs work, how the dealers work, how the dealers sell their inputs to the farmers on credit. So when someone is selling something on credit, he would obviously have the power to push something which the farmer may or may not want. So kindly understand, and also understand the power of the informal credit providers. They're formidable source despite all the advancements which we have. A huge number of people come into the formal credit system, but informal credit providers are very, very powerful. They can do so many uncomfortable things to the people who take money. Understand that, because you're trying to work in this particular system. And coming to the probable areas, as I said, broadly, when you look from three angles, there are so many things possible. So for example, the other day when I was asked to make a small video, so I wore a t-shirt which says save the soils. I did that because many of us think, oh, soil is an inert medium. That's what Sadhguru is driving 30,000 kilometers from London to India and presenting to all people. So soil could be an area to work with. So it could be crop selection, it could be IoT, it could be crop advisory. When you're talking about crop advisory, you should also be very clear. India is a country where people can go and buy a Schedule H drug over the counter. Expecting people to pay for the advisory is not very easy. So how do you really present what you're going to talk? digitizing farmers' profiles, digitizing farmers' operations. All these things are there are so many things which can work. So most of the architects, most of them are working in the aggregation, most of them are working in B2B. If you can really crack from B2C or B2C, B to the farmer from through the FPO route, it will be fantastic. And the last point, I would last point primarily pertains to organizations like TiE and other platforms. All these things are possible when we have a directory of people operating in this space. I think it is not easy to create a directory, but the directory could be a good guiding point for those people who want to get into this sector. One more, the last point which I want to tell is, if some of you have great ideas and you want to really work, one promise I can make: we work with several grant-based projects across the country. If you have a great idea, so I could give you a place to work in one of our projects. So where the social capital is created, some element of investment we do. That means the perimeter of around 1,000 odd hectares is fixed. You can come and experiment with whatever is your idea there. So this is a promise which I can make. And on this note, I would thank the TiE and Matrix, and thank all of you for giving me an opportunity to speak to you. Namaskaram once again to all of you. Thank you so much.